What's up guys, it's Audra and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, today we're doing a video that I said I was going to do for a really long time and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Because you all know how much I love Disney and I feel like it's about time. We've done a top 10 favorite Disney movies. So the reason I thought of this was because in my 100 questions video, somebody asked me what my favorite Disney movies were and I was like, oh my gosh, it's time to do a video. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do my top 10 favorite Disney movies from, like bottom to top. So like 10 to 1. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 10, the first one, we have Alice in Wonderland. I would put this higher on the list, but I don't like the soundtrack at all. I just think that the movie is like good. And it's just like one that I like to watch every once in a while. It's like a sleeper movie. It's like pretty good. And when I think of it, I'll watch it. But I never like seek out watching Alice in Wonderland. I'm always like, I see it on Disney Plus and I'm like, oh, that's like a cute movie. I kind of forgot about that. And then I'll watch it. And I just like it. I think it's cute. I like the story and like the little like details in the movie, like the little cookie, the part with the cookies, the eat me cookies. I think that's really cute. But again, not a huge fan of the soundtrack. There's not really much to it. But I just think it's a good movie. So that is number 10. Number 9 is the most sleeper movie ever, I think. The most sleeper Disney movie ever. It's Peter Pan. This movie is literally so good. I don't know why. This is another one. I even forget about it. And I'll tell you the reason or how I made this list was I thought about Disney World. I was like, okay, what rides do I go on at Disney? What movies, like what things do we like to do at Disney that are attached to movies? I'm obsessed with Peter Pan. The ride in Disney always has a really long line. And it's not worth it. But the Peter Pan movie is so good. And I really like all the soundtrack for that too. I think Peter Pan, to me, is just, like, nostalgic. Like, I love that, we're following the leader, that one. And the You Can Fly one. You can fly, you can fly, you can fly. I don't know, I just think that movie's so cute. That's, like, my answer for all of these. I just think it's cute. But really, a lot of it is just in order of, like, how important they were in my childhood, how much I still enjoy watching them. So I think that was, like, a big part in how I, like, ranked these movies, was, like, will I still watch it? How important was it in my childhood? Like, does it play a big role of, like, when I was little? And, like, do I still like it? And how's the soundtrack? That's kind of how I ranked these. Number 8. I feel like I should have put this higher on the list, but I couldn't put it above anything else. So, number 8 is The Lion King. I do love this movie, and this probably has by far, like, one of my favorite Disney soundtracks ever. But the movie itself is not very rewatchable to me. It still had to make the list. Obviously, it's a Disney classic. I loved watching this when I was growing up. I loved screaming that beginning part, the beginning song. It definitely needed to be there, but it's not one that I go back to a lot, and I'm like, let me rewatch that. I will tell you a quick story of why this made this on the list, though. So, there's a Lion King show in Disney World, in the Animal Kingdom. And it's the most beautiful show I've ever seen. It's my favorite show at Disney. And they do Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And it's all, live singers, dancers, performances. It's crazy. And there's Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And there's these 2 birds that, like, people dress up as birds, right? And they're on these fly lines. And they do Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And at the end, they, like, come up in the air and, like, spin around, like, crazy fast. The guy's, like, spinning the girl. Like, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I used to make my dad do that with me when I was little. I would make him, like, pick me up and, like, spin me around like the birds. Can you feel the love tonight? Because I wanted to be that bird. I wanted to be the girl bird so bad. I still would do it, but I'm a terrible dancer, so I could never. She looks so beautiful, like, spinning around. Number 7 is Lilo and Stitch. This one, I feel like I almost forgot to put it on the list. I love this movie. This is one that I will rewatch all the time and, like, not care at all. I think the movie is so, so adorable. I love Stitch. He's probably one of my favorite Disney characters ever. But I love the story with, like, Lilo and her sister and how they're, like, trying to capture Stitch the whole time. And, like, Pleakley, I think, is a hilarious character. And Jumbo. The thing that puts this up there for me is the song Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride. That song is probably, I'd say, probably in my top 3 favorite Disney songs ever in the world. And that scene from from Lilo and Stitch is also probably in my top 3 scenes from any Disney movie ever. I think that scene is so cute and just beautiful, and it just gives me so much serotonin watching that scene. Like, I'm just like, oh, it's so good. And like, I could listen to Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride every single day, every day. My favorite part was when I was little was when they were in Nani's restaurant and Stitch eats both the pieces of cake, and Lilo's like, hey, you ate one of mine. And then he like spits it back out and like spits the cherry out and puts it on top. Also, side note, when I was little, all I wanted was this Lilo doll, like in like her hula outfit, and she did like the dance, and she smelled like coconut. It was amazing, and I had the doll, and it was so good. Number 6 on the list is Coco. I love the movie so much. I think it's so cute. I think the story is amazing. I love the way that that movie looks. Like, I enjoy watching it, and it just looks so good. And I love all of the music in it. I think the music is amazing. The reason I like them so much is usually based off of the soundtrack of the movie and, like, how much I enjoy singing along to it. And this one is so high up on the list. But again, for this one, I just really like the way it looks. But yeah, number 6 is Coco. Number 5 is Aladdin. Now we're getting into, like, the classic Disney movies. The classic Disney movies are in, like, the top 5 because I think those ones are, like, the most nostalgic and, like, rewatchable to me. So number 5 is Aladdin. Princess Jasmine, one of my favorite Disney princesses by far. I love the soundtrack of that movie. Again, this one was one that I watched when I was little a lot. I used to watch with my parents all the time when I was younger. And my dad used to pick me up, like, he would hold a pillow like this, and I would sit on the pillow, and he would fly me around like I was on a magic carpet. So, you know, that has a big factor in why this movie was so good to me when I was little. But me and my dad used to sing, if you guys didn't know, my dad can actually sing. He just, like, doesn't show it. But we used to sing the Whole New World duet when I was little, and it was amazing. So anytime that this movie comes on, it just reminds me of that. Number 4 is Beauty and the Beast. So this one I really enjoy this movie. Number 1, soundtrack, top three soundtracks in a Disney movie. This movie, again, was one that I wanted to watch a lot when I was little. I have a lot of good memories at Disney, too, with this movie. There's this ride called PhilharMagic, and it's like a 3D one. You go in, and there's a Be Our Guest scene, and they, like, spray, like, the food smells at you, and it smells amazing. It smells like popping, like, champagne, and stuff, and it's so good. I just love this movie in general. Just makes me, like, happy. This is, like, one of those Disney movies that I go to if I'm, like, I just want to be in a really good mood. And then that opening song. That little town, it's a quiet village. Also, Belle is one of the Disney princesses I can imitate very well. Let me see if I can remember it. Oh, isn't this amazing? It's my favorite part because you'll see. Here's where she meets Prince Charming, but she won't discover that it's him till chapter 3. Number 3 is The Little Mermaid. This is probably my favorite, like, classic Disney princess movie, The Little Mermaid, so that's why it's number 3. But there's still 2 ahead of it that I like more, maybe that are, like, more recent, not really princess movies, you know. But Little Mermaid, number 3, is definitely my favorite classic Disney princess. Ariel has always been my favorite Disney princess. I actually got to see the lady Jodie Benson who voices Ariel in Disney once, and it was the best experience of my life. Also, when I was little and went to Disney World, the Ariel remembered me, which was insane. And I still ask my parents about that. They never said anything. But we used to go to Disney a lot. I mean, we still do. When I was younger, we would go every year. We would go. And we went the year before, and the Ariel was like, what's your name? And I was like, Audra. You know, and I was like, I loved Ariel. I loved her, you know. She had red hair. I was like, I have red hair. I wanted to be a mermaid so bad. And I went back the next year, and she was like, Audra. And I was like, how do you know who I am? And she remembered me. I was like, oh my gosh. It was like the craziest experience that ever happened to me. And I'm sure like there was like a name on like our stroller that said like Audra, you know what I mean? But the fact that she saw the name and then remembered me and like said something too. She like said something to me and was like, this is how I remember you. And I was like, that's absolutely blowing my like 5-year-old mind right now. I could not believe it. It was crazy. I also think Ursula might be one of my favorite Disney villains, which I think is cool. It has a pretty big role in this movie. I also was in love with Prince Eric when I was little, so that was good for me. Number 2, we're getting close. Number 2 is Tangled. Now, this is a more recent Disney princess movie, but I think it is probably one of the best Disney movies ever created. Everything about it is amazing. The story's amazing. Flynn Rider's amazing. Rapunzel's amazing. Mother Gothel, amazing. The scene with all the people in like the bar is amazing. The lantern scene is, you know, I was saying Lilo Stitch probably is one of my top 3 favorite Disney scenes. This is my number 1. Tangled, the lantern scene, is my favorite scene from any Disney movie ever, and I will stand by that forever. I absolutely adore this movie. I love everything about it. I love the people who voiced the characters in this movie also. I think they did such an amazing job. And everything about this movie is just perfect. I have nothing else to say. It's a perfect movie. Okay, before we do the number 1, we need to do some honorable mentions. So these were movies where I either couldn't figure out where to place them on the list, or maybe they didn't have as much like meaning to me as the other ones on the list, but I still love them. The first one is definitely the most important one, Princess and the Frog. That scene with Mama Odie, probably my favorite. Ray the Lightning Bug, one of my favorite Disney characters ever. But I just couldn't figure out where to put it on the list. Other ones, Cinderella, you know, it's just classic. Winnie the Pooh, I have a special place in my heart for Winnie the Pooh. I just don't watch it anymore. But I have a Winnie the Pooh like baby blanket that I got from my grandma when I was little, and I still have it, and I love it, and I loved that movie, but that movie like makes me cry now. But I love Winnie the Pooh. And number 4 of the honorable mentions, we have Frozen. Just because that was, you know, pretty big part of my life for a while. I dressed up as Anna and Elsa and went to children's birthday parties, and I sang Let It Go probably 1 million times in the summer that I did that. And it was very fun, and I'm glad I did it, but I can never watch that movie again because I'm so sick of it. Alright, moving on. Number 1, the moment you've all been waiting for. I feel like a lot of people already know this, but my favorite Disney movie is Hercules. Meg is my favorite Disney woman ever. I don't really know if she's considered a Disney princess. She should be. I feel like my parents should have known that there was a problem when Meg was my favorite Disney princess, and she was just like sassy and like mean. And I was just like, yes, I want to be her. Her song is my favorite song from any Disney movie. I Won't Say I'm in Love. I also like I can go the distance, I will find my way, I can go the distance. Yeah, if I can be strong, I know every mile will be worth my while. Could go most anywhere to find where I belong. That one. And then my favorite line from any Disney movie ever is when they're trying to cut the string for Hercules because he dives into... Oh, Hades is also probably, like, my favorite Disney villain. My favorite line, though, is when Hercules is, like, diving into, like, the underworld to, like, rescue Meg's soul. And they go to cut his thing, and that's when he turns into, like, a god, and he can go to, like, Olympus, whatever. And they're cutting, and the string turns gold, and they go, "What's the matter with these scissors?" And that's my favorite line from any Disney movie ever. I love it. I think the whole movie is just so perfect. I love like how like weird and awkward Hercules is, which I feel like was so different from like the other like, you know, heroes that they had. And Meg was a very different princess compared to all the other ones. Like, I'm a damsel, I'm in distress, I can handle it. Like, that, I don't know, I think that was just really cool. I love Danny DeVito as Phil. I think that's so funny. His song is hilarious. I just think everything about that movie is just so good. It's like a good mix of like comedy and then like amazing music. It's number one for a reason. That soundtrack is amazing. The muses, come on. When you have a singing group of girls telling the whole story of the movie, you know I'm going to be obsessed with it. I want there to be a live action of this so bad, and I'm putting in my application to play Meg. No man is worth the aggravation. That's ancient history, been there, done that. Who'd you think kidding? He's the heaven to you, try to keep it hidden. Honey, we can see. Oh no! Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video, my top 10 favorite Disney movies. Thank you for joining me along with my Disney obsession. You guys know how much I love Disney. And I love talking about it, so I will talk about my favorite Disney movies all the time. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye! See you next week!